And we are live.
All right. Hey, folks, Pam back from Down for Pause here. We're back this week, Scott and I. And this week's a really big topic. We're going to be talking about puppies here. That's like a big one, especially with a lot of the pandemic puppies and people adopting puppies or purchasing puppies. So, working with clients and teaching group classes and everything, there's always a bunch of questions that I get about puppies in general. So I thought, let me compile a list of them and then we could just go through them today and kind of, chat about them. So Scott has that list and he's
Yeah.
just going to go through them and I'm just going to answer them for you guys. How about that? All
All
right,
right.
Scott, hit
So
it.
let's jump into it. The
All
first
right.
question,
I'm
probably a
ready.
big one, is food. So when can I switch my puppy's dog food? We just got him, so maybe the breeder had him on a specific dog food, and I want to switch him over to something else.
Yeah.
What's the best way to approach that?
So, what I tell my clients and folks in general with dogs, if you plan on switching your dog over to a different dog food, the key point is to do it gradually. So, whether you're adopting a dog from a shelter, they're usually at a foster home, or whether you're purchasing a dog, they're with the breeder. You want to ask them what type of food they're on. If you're going to continue that food, that's fine. But if you're going to switch it over, you want to do a little bit at a time. So, you want to stick with what food they're on currently and then add about 1/3 of the new food in. And over the course of a few days, you're going to add more of the new food than the old food. Then over time, then boom, you have like you're in with the new food, and then your dog's on that the dog food that you want them on. So basically, you just want to do it gradually, and that's how you switch your dog over.
Nice.
Hmm.
Okay. So question number 2. This is for all our soon-to-be puppy owners.
Okay.
How do I prepare for my new puppy coming home soon?
Yes, that is a good one. And the fact that most people do ask that question means you're going to be a great puppy owner already. So the biggest thing is going to be management. Just like we prepare for our babies to come home, we have to prepare for our puppies to come home too. And so you want to get those baby gates. They do have them for puppies, and you don't want to give your puppy free reign over the whole house. You want to restrict them to one area. We can keep an eye on them so they're not going off like having accidents everywhere. So there's like a list of things you get. Usually I give my clients a dog, like a essential dog training checklist. And on that list, some things are getting a baby gate, again, to confine them to one area. Make sure, essential, so key, make sure you get your dog a collar and a name tag. So if they get lost and they get out, obviously they'll be able to be found and returned back home to you. That's an important one. You want to get some pee pads if you have them, not have them, but you want to get some pee pads
Yeah.
if you're working on potty training, which you should be if they're a puppy. A crate as well for confinement. You don't want to leave your puppy out and about because they're going to have accidents. So those are just a few things you want to get. You can also Google the list as well, and they'll tell you all the stuff that you can get for a new puppy. But those are just the essential ones. And of course, dog food. You want to get that as well. But the biggest thing is going to be the dog tags, the crate, and the baby gates. Those are the top 3.
Gotcha. That makes a lot of sense,
Yeah,
especially with food. Definitely want to be able to feed them.
exactly.
So I've got my puppy, and I kind of have my heart set on them being a service dog. How do I train my puppy to be a service dog?
Okay, yep, that's a really, really big one. So one thing that I have to say about the service dog process is not kind of a quick process. It's kind of like a gradual thing, a lifetime training thing with your dog. But you kind of want to start them. They start off the same way any dog would start off as a pet. You want to just start them off with basic obedience classes, or have a trainer come in and teach the dog some basic obedience. Because the main point of a service dog is they have to be able to provide. They have to be there for their handler. They have to be there for their owner. So they have to be able to be calm and even killed, not jumping, and kind of like, well mannered through any type of situation. So you want to make sure you install some obedience. So you want to start there with your dog. So just getting some classes under your belt, basic obedience. And one thing, there is something called the AKC. American Canine Citizen Club.
Mm.
And if you go onto their website, they have some classes that you take for certification. And those are the same classes that we take our service dogs through when they're in training. And so you want to kind of start taking those classes. And those classes, the AKC Puppy Start class is about gearing you up, making sure you're a great puppy owner, know about grooming, making sure you have the tags. And the biggest thing is socialization too, just making sure they go everywhere with you, they experience new things. So that really does set in. Remember, dogs learn by emotional responses and emotional situations. So you want to make sure you're getting them out and about. So basic obedience, and then you want to go through the Puppy Start class, which is the 6 weeks class. And at the end, you'll get a certificate saying that, basically you're a great puppy owner and you know what it takes to be a dog. And then the next level will be the Canine Good Citizen class. And that just advances pretty much more on the basic obedience skills, but it's more about your dog being out and about, greeting other people in restaurants and stuff like that. Because remember, if you have a service dog, you have to be able to take them everywhere. So you just kind of want to just make sure they have their basic obedience really down. They're able to come when called, sit when sit, downstay for a long time. So this is all going to be throughout the gradual course of months and years of training and basic obedience, just getting your dog out and about. But if you talk to a trainer or if you want to contact me, definitely we can talk more in detail, or you can talk to your trainer near you more in detail about the service dog route. But that's definitely the route you want to choose. But you can go to the akc.org and find out more information about that.
Okay, that sounds good. That sounds really good, actually. So definitely, yeah, if you want more information, you can always reach out to Pam for that sort of thing. And she worked with that. She's very well versed in that. Okay, so here's a fun one. Why does my puppy go to the bathroom so much?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So yes, that is a good one. So your puppy's bladder is just tiny. And they're puppies, so that's why they essentially go to the bathroom so much. And so you're supposed to take them out every 2 to 3 hours based on their age. So when they're really tiny, just take them out 2 to 3 hours at a time. I know it's a lot, but trust me, it's going to be worth the while to have your dog potty trained. And I always tell my clients, it's only for a little bit. If you invest all you have now, not monetary wise, but emotionally, training wise, then you'll have the results early on. So you can have the lifelong with the dog instead of going through problems step by step,
That makes sense. Yeah, put the work in now, you pay for it, pay the dividends later and that sort of thing.
Exactly.
Sure.
Exactly.
Especially with that, you definitely want to put in the work. So okay, so I have a small child. How do I get my puppy, who's also obviously a puppy, to play well with my small child? Because they're basically two small children trying to play with each other, and things happen. So what do I do?
I get that question a lot because I work with a lot of families, and the biggest thing is management between your child and your puppy. And there's a few types of management between the child and the puppy, and so you want to make sure that you're actively managing them. And what that means is that when your puppy and your child is playing, you want to make sure that your puppy's not nipping or biting and things like that. And if they are, you want to kind of break that up. And also, I tell families too, when you have small children playing with puppies, try not to let them do a lot of hands-on stuff with the puppy because they're teething and they're gonna bite and be nippy. So instead, redirect them and give them a toy. Teach them how to tug with the dog. Teach them how to do fetch with the dog. Things like that, where it's more so that there's distance in between the child and the dog. And as always, if you can't watch the child and the dog, you want to make sure the dog's with you, or that you can see them in like your hindsight or something, not hindsight. See them like off in a distance or whatever it may be, or close by you. But basically, you just want to manage the situation. Also, when your puppy nips, you want to tell them, ouch, remember that. And then you want to redirect them and tell them what you want to do by giving them a toy. So between, telling your puppy what to do and, saying ouch, and having your kid engaging in proper play with the dog, that essentially would help with the nipping between them.
That makes sense. And I guess sort of helping to teach the kid how to interact with the dog too.
Exactly.
So they're not grabbing, because I know like little kids, they just want to grab the hair and pull, right? Especially if it's longer hair, if it's not a short hair dog. They're just all those trying to pinch it and everything. So just keeping an eye on that, right?
Yeah, and dogs need, and with that being said, dogs need their personal space too. So and kids are very much on top of dogs. So just be mindful, like if someone was to bear hug you all day long, it would get kind of overwhelming. And so you want to make sure that when your dog's sleeping, that you allow your dog to be sleeping and have your kids not bother them. And the same thing when they're eating too, you just want to let them eat as well.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just got a new puppy. Where do I start with training?
Again, you want to start first. You want to make sure they have their vaccinations, because you don't, of course, want them to get anything. But you want to start with some sort of basic obedience class or training. Whether you know, reach out to a trainer like myself, and come out and do like a 5-week program, where we'll go over the 5 commands, which are sit down, watch me, leave it, and come, to kind of get them some obedience and manners. So you want to start there, but the biggest thing is socialization, just getting your dog out and about, seeing different people, persons, and places and things, because it does make a difference in that fear response later on in life. But essentially, until you're able to get to a trainer and do some training, you want to just socialize them and get them out and take them everywhere.
Yeah, a lot more new experiences. Let them experience the world and just sort of get used to all the different noises and everything, so they don't have, I guess, fears down the road type of thing, because they've already experienced it. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so puppy's a little bit older, or hey, I got a puppy and now I have to go to work. I have to go out. What's the best way to find like a pet sitter, and then other things like a vet, someone to walk my puppy potentially, all those sort of village that helps us to raise a puppy to a certain degree?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And again, I would say if you're working with a trainer or any type of pet care professional, you want to look back to them, to ask them their recommendations, because you already trust them. Whether they're training your dog, like myself, you can refer back to myself, and usually they'll have some good recommendations on hand, and you already trust that person. But then there's also good old Google, and also the perfect thing is to talk to your friends and family, people who you trust, far as vets and stuff like that, and groomers. And you want to also take your dog into consideration. You just don't want to schedule an appointment at your local pet store or have a groomer. Take your dog to a groomer if your dog's kind of fearful of being grooming in general, or if they're afraid of other people and you're hiring a dog walker. So you want to think about your dog's needs first, and whether that means a groomer coming to you because your dog doesn't do well out and about, or whether you have a dog, your dog meet with a dog walker in advance to gain some type of relationship. So you want to think about your dog's needs first, and then kind of do your own research and reach back out to the people to find like the perfect pet care professional for your dog.
That makes sense. I guess looking at reviews, word of mouth, all those good things that kind of embed that trust and sort of, figure out who's actually got that proof, of actually doing well, and then you can trust them a bit more too. So that makes
absolutely
really good advice. Okay. So my puppy's home, and every now and then he just runs everywhere, and he's crazy. Why is he so crazy?
Puppies just have a lot of energy. They're just like, they're no different than our children. They're no different than, when our children are crazy like that, when they're younger, like the toddlers, infant stages, whether they don't walk, they're still crawling all around the place. They just have a lot of energy that they just need to get out. So the best thing to do is to take your dog out to exercise them, long walks, vigorous play, fetch, some toss. If you can't get out, I talked about it before with how dogs learn, just getting some puzzle toys and to engage them inside the home. Just anything to keep them busy, just to exhaust them and get some of that energy out. And remember, I always try to, drill this home is only for a short amount of time. So just, I know sometimes I was like, oh my gosh, it is overwhelming, but take a deep breath. I tell folks, put the dog in a crate for 5 minutes, take a deep breath, and just, bring them back out, love on them a little bit, but just invest now and, get some of those things, and it'll be good later on.
Yeah, for sure. It seems like forever when you're in it, but when you look back on it, it's not that long actually. So it's not too bad.
Nope.
Okay. Another last one, a little bit more of a big one. My puppy is biting me. What should I do?
Yep. Back to what I was talking about before. If your puppy is nipping you, you want to do a startling response by just saying, ouch, like that. And usually your puppy stop and startle like that. And then you want to redirect them with what you want them to do. So remember, for everything you don't want them to do, you want to teach them what you want them to do. So if you have some toys nearby, you shake the toy, give them the toy like, hey, this is what you do. So redirecting them usually does help if it's something engaging that they would like, but sometimes remember they still will come back and nip again. If your puppy continues to nip, you want to give them like a short timeout for 5 minutes, whether that's in like some type of confinement area, whether that's the crate, the bedroom, or X-pen area for 5 minutes, and then bring them back out again, and hopefully by that time they won't be nippy. But if they are, you just want to continue that process for like 5 minutes at a time until they kind of decrease the nipping. And I know it may sound exhausting, but again, to drill it home is only for a short amount of time, and then usually as they mature and get older, it kind of decreases.
Yeah, it seems like that's the overarching message from today is if you put in the work early, it's going to really pay off for the lifetime that you have with them. Like if you're going to have like 10, 13, however many years, that first 6 months to a year, if you put in crazy really good work and you put in that work and you work at it, it's just going to make your life with them and your relationship with them so much better going on forward, right? So just
absolutely,
it seems like forever, but it's actually not too bad. Just
not forever. Just right now. Yep.
Exactly. That's awesome. So that's all the questions we got for today. I think we touched on like a good variety of subjects, all things puppy. But yeah, anything you want to follow up with or close out with?
No, I just hope you guys got a lot out of this little puppy session and the Q&A. And if you guys have any questions, I'm always happy to answer. I'm always on Facebook. You can reach me at Down for Paws. I'm always happy to jump in the comments and answer questions for you guys. So just check me out at Down for Paws, and I will catch you guys on next week's live.
See you guys.
See you.